This is the Takara Tomy Transformers Age of Extinction Armor Knight Optimus Prime. I got this guy a while ago, I did a review on it, and I absolutely love it. But when I did the video, I had a lot of people tell me, you should get the Caliber version instead. You need the Caliber one, Caliber Optimus. It was the Last Night version, and I really wanted the Age of Extinction version because I just kind of prefer the bright colors on this. I love this metallic blue paint and everything, and I just didn't really want another Optimus Prime. Well, thankfully, Takara took care of that, because now I have the Takara Lost Age Optimus Prime, and this is the Takara Movie The Best Nemesis Prime. And not only that, but it's using the Caliber mold with the shield. Now, you may be wondering, what's the Caliber mold? What are we talking about? So the main issue people have had with this original Age of Extinction Leader Optimus is the backpack. And you can see all this back here, all this structure for the rear of the truck. It's just going to be the backpack. It's all hollow, so it's not cumbersome on the back. It's as thin as possible, so it's not cumbersome on the back, but it goes on the back. All of this goes on the back. However, in the Last Night toy line, they decided we're done with that. We want to make sure there's a way for it to kind of not be in the back anymore. And they solved that by turning all of this into his shield. So all of this back here is going to turn into a shield. And you get a little bit of extra weapon storage and everything because he's got a new axe weapon. It also changes how the side is engineered, which is very interesting. But overall, it's a very, very interesting choice how they decided to remold the toy and like improve it. Oftentimes, if they do something like that, they're just going to make a brand new one. But this time around, they decided, hey, we're going to change this Optimus and get rid of that backpack and turn it into an accessory. Me personally, I don't really mind the backpack on the Age of Extinction version, and we'll see that when we get him in bot mode. But for this, it's very nice, especially for this Nemesis Prime version, because I've always wanted the Last Night Nemesis in my collection. As crappy and terrible of an interpretation of the character that it is, I've always kind of wanted one. So this way, now I have one, and it's a very, very gorgeous figure. I mean, look at this truck mode. It still has the same awesome paint. Now, granted, the blue isn't all metallic blue paint anymore. It is blue swirly, twirly, glossy plastic, which is okay. I'm okay with it. I personally would prefer the nice metallic paint, hence why I do have the, Optimus back there that does have the metallic paint. But still, there's a lot of nice detail. I love this Western Star that's actually chrome right there on the side of the truck. He's got a lot of nice vac metal on the wheels right there on that Western Star logo, the smokestacks, the grill over the windows, the gas tanks. Yeah, there's a lot of nice chrome. And thankfully, all that chrome was also still pretty much present on the original one. So seeing these side by side, the main difference is going to be that blue. You can tell Nemesis Prime, being an evil poopy head and all, he's got a deeper, darker blue than Optimus does. And I really like that difference. It's very slight. It's a very slight difference, but it's one that I appreciate. And I'm very happy, again, to have a version of Nemesis Prime, because I'm personally not very impressed with the upcoming Studio Series one, especially with the increased price. Maybe I'll get it on a sale, but I'm already not a super big fan of this interpretation of Nemesis. I told myself, if I want a toy of it, I want Movie The Best. You think I'm kidding? Here's the box. The toy line is called Movie The Best. I love English sometimes. Alright, so with the truck modes pretty much out of the way, let's go ahead and transform these. Now I'm going to transform both of these on camera because I want to show the similarities and differences. So the main thing is definitely going to be that backpack. So this is a very easy transformation if you know it. I personally have known it for quite some time because I have the original one. I've had it since 2014. But you can see all this is the backpack. It folds up, it collapses. Congratulations, that is your massive backpack for your Optimus Prime. Everything else is pretty standard, run-of-the-mill leader class Optimus from this era. It is essentially that Age of Extinction leader, but now he's a lot prettier. He's got new sculpting and everything. I have already fully reviewed this toy if you want to check it out. The leg transformation is going to be identical for both of them. Got to separate the legs if we can. Oh my gosh, there we go. And I've always loved how this very large chunk of truck just folds over and forms the foot. I've always enjoyed that. So, yep, pretty much getting them all done. So the last little touches, we can see how all of this is kind of going to collapse back here. And the hip skirt is attached to the backpack. That's very important to note. The hip skirt is attached to the backpack on the original one. And getting the shoulders down and doing the epic head reveal. Oh, wow. It actually sent the face flying a little bit. Here is our Transformers Lost Age Armor Knight Optimus. Let's get his shield in place, too, because it's very cool looking. And yeah, this is an awesome looking figure, especially with that bright metallic blue. All right, with him transformed, let's see how the caliber mold fares when it comes to the transformation. So let's go ahead and slip the weapons out, get the axe out as well. And this one is, I'm not as used to it, so bear with me. So we're going to, let's go ahead and kind of crack it open how we used to. And this part, oh my gosh, what do we do? So this part is going to stay up here, and then the backpack, in a very similar fashion, is going to fold up. But then instead of just keeping it folded up like the original one, we're just going to pull it off. We are just going to pull it off, just like that. And we will transform this separately. So yeah, we are stuck with this. Thankfully, this is a more expensive Takara figure, because if this was like a mainline retail release, you'd be finding this guy at thrift stores all the time, missing missing a whole chunk of the truck. So finishing up the back, you can see it has a lot of nice sculpted detail. We'll go ahead and flip down the connectors. That is for the sword and the axe, as well as the shield too, if you want to keep it on his back. And then this just kind of more fully tabs in. There we go, nice and flush. So like I said, the skirts were attached to the backpack on the original one, but this time around they are actually attached to the bot. The main difference is we want to make sure it is swung down, and we kind of like hinge it back and then hinge it forward. So it's very nice that they attached it to the bot, so that way you're not left with an Optimus without skirts, because he definitely needs his cool, like, knight armor skirting. It's kind of a pain to get it tabbed in, because you don't want to, like, flex the plastic too much. You got to get your finger in there and just kind of push it just right. But there we go. There's the skirting. The legs are completely identical, and again, I love this transformation. It's just so nice to swing that whole mass and then get the legs going. It's all these years later. It's been 11 years since I first handled this mold, and I still love it. I've got 3 different versions of it now. All of them different, but they're all still essentially the same. And of course, the last thing, we're going to get that all folded, and then we're going to do the epic head reveal. There we go. Get his chest all tabbed in. And yeah, we can see he's got some nice darker colors going on. Definitely a little bit more Nemesis Prime-y. We'll take a closer look at him in a second. We still have to transform his shield. We still have the shield to transform. Now you can see, because it is a Nemesis Prime shield, instead of being like silver as it should be, it's black and it's metallic purple, which is very interesting. So these wheels right here, they're going to fold in, and they're going to be hidden within the shield. We're going to flip the tip of the shield, and then this whole section, we're going to kind of flip and collapse everything in, just like that. So collapse the little step, flip that panel onto the gas tank, and just kind of flip it in. I really don't like how clicky it is. I feel like I'm going to break it one day. Hopefully I don't. But we will just kind of bring this in. These parts kind of collapse, cornered, and there we go. Here's the shield all done. And you can see it still actually has connection points for the axe and the sword if you want to keep them there. But we do have, thankfully, the connection points built into the bot. We can go ahead and plug in the shield to his back if we want. And it does make him very, very back heavy because it is much heavier. But let's go ahead and arm him up. Let's arm him up. Here, we're going to go ahead, plug the shield into his arm. And it's a very big shield, but it does plug in pretty well. Just have to make sure you give it a good push. And you can see, I don't know if you notice, yeah, it's going to redistribute his weight. So definitely kind of reposition his legs to accommodate for that. I personally really like giving him the axe. But before I do that, I do want to show, it's kind of hard to get it plugged in back here, because I feel like the plug isn't big enough. But you can. I'm just worried I'm going to break it. Actually, I'm going to leave the axe back there. I like the axe back there. We're going to go ahead and give him the sword. We'll kind of give them both like a similar look. And there we go. Here is our Age of Extinction Armor Knight and our movie the best Optimus and Nemesis all transformed. And yeah, definitely quite the difference, that's for sure. So looking at these guys side by side, you can definitely tell a detail difference. A lot of the specific paint applications on the robot themselves are not that different. It's mostly just the colors and the tones. You can see the Nemesis is a lot darker, the gold is more muted, the red's a bit more muted, even the silver's a bit more muted. And of course the blue, instead of being nice shiny metallic blue paint, is just kind of a darker blue plastic. The main paint differences are definitely going to be at the heads. You can see Nemesis has the red stripe because he's all taken over by Quintessa and everything, and the Optimus is much more brighter and happier. You can see the shields are a massive difference, of course, because this shield is actually a part of the truck, and this one is just a molded accessory that kind of plugs onto the truck. The backpack is definitely a major difference, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to appreciate that the Caliber/Nemesis mold does not have the backpack. Again, me personally, it's not a deal breaker for me that the original one does. It was never a deal breaker, never the end of the world. But I'm sure it's going to make a lot of people far more appreciative of this iteration of the mold, either Nemesis or the Caliber. I'm definitely happy I have both. I'm definitely happy I've got both. I'm really happy to have a version of Nemesis in my collection. And I just love this Age of Extinction Leader Optimus so much. I'm more than happy to have another iteration of it. That is definitely for sure. I want to get in even closer on the Nemesis Prime specifically. Again, I've already done a review on the Armor Knight if you want to see far more details on him. But yeah, this looks incredible. The red stripe looks really nice on the helmet. And it is a new head sculpt for the Armor Knight, and it is carried over here. So this is a different head than if you have the standard, like, Last Knight or Age of Extinction Leader class. The biggest giveaway is the fact that this is the very first mold that they ever really did that has the whole face switch gimmick. So you can lift it up, switch the face. And me personally, I don't know which one yet, but I'm definitely going to have one of them with the non-faceplate head, because I think it looks very nice, and I really love the option. So with the Studio Series, you don't have a choice, but at least with this, you actually have a choice which one you want to have with the battle mask or without, and I really, really appreciate that. I do like both of the face sculpts, by the way. I definitely do. Again, all the details, mold-wise, are exactly the same. He does have a lot of gorgeous paint on him, that's for sure. The main thing that's really missing paint-wise is the fact that all the blue is not painted and it's just molded. But it's still molded in a really nice shiny blue plastic. I do really like the detail on the axe. I love how it's like this clear purple that fades away with the silver paint. That's very nice. I do have to say the shield, I'm not the biggest fan of the color scheme on it. I think the black is just a little too much black for the color scheme. Doesn't really match well. I think it should have been like one of the darker silvers that we see on the toy already. But it's whatever. I understand they wanted it to kind of be like an actual Nemesis Prime homage. I get it. I get it. But me personally, I could leave or take the shield. I do like the look of it, but color scheme wise, it's not the greatest. I do appreciate that we can store it on his back. I definitely appreciate that. And we can store it on his back with other weapons already attached. So yeah, we can have this guy totally, not holding anything. Here, let's go ahead and take that off too so we can show how it looks with the sword slotted in. So yeah, he can have everything on his back. He is carrying a lot. He's carrying the fate of Cybertron on his back. Whoa. What has happened to my world? Here, let's go ahead and flip the faceplate back, because I personally prefer the battle mask, especially if I'll be having this guy like fighting Bumblebee or something. He's got to have that battle mask. All right, let's go over his articulation. So he does have a ball joint at the head. Doesn't really get too much up, but you get a little bit of down and side-to-side tilt. He does have universals at the shoulders. I've always enjoyed the ratchets on this version of Optimus. So he's got shoulders that move forward and they move out. You do technically have butterflies as well. You do kind of have like a forward and back butterfly. You get that from transformation, but it does work as articulation. The shoulder pads are on double hinges, so they will get out of your way and swivel around as well. He has elbow swivels and elbow bends. He does have a thumb joint if you need to open up the thumb to get an accessory in there. He does have a waist swivel. You saw it in transformation, and I do think it works kind of nicer now that the hip skirts are a part of the robot instead of the backpack, because I don't know, I feel like they're just a little less out of the way than before, but you do get a nice waist swivel there. The hips are on very nice ratchets. Always, again, have enjoyed the ratchets on this mold. He does have a knee swivel and a knee bend, and his ankles, due to the transformation, kind of have a little bit of a pivot and an up and down toe joint. So yeah, very nicely articulated still after all these years. Now, because I'm sure a lot of people are going to be curious, I did want to bring in the Studio Series Age of Extinction Optimus, just so you could kind of see a bit of a comparison here when it comes to the size, the paint, the sculpt, and everything. I do have to say the Studio Series one proportionally is a lot better. It is a lot more accurate proportionally. When it comes to a lot of other things, the paint especially is super mega lacking on the Studio Series. It is an absolute crime that he does not have any silver paint on him except for his legs. Even on his head he doesn't have silver paint. His backpack is okay. I do really enjoy the look and feel of this figure, except for the paint. The paint is just so lacking. Honestly, when it comes to these, over time, I think I've kind of come to accept that I think I prefer the old leader class. I kind of think I do. That's a lot of nostalgia talking, because I've had 11 years to enjoy this mold, and I've had a little bit less time than that to enjoy the Takara versions, but still, I have 2 Takara versions now. So I have a lot of time to enjoy the old one. The new one, maybe if a knockoff company or something gives it the paint that it deserves, maybe I'll like it more. But right now, especially with like this version with the shield where he doesn't have a backpack and everything, whenever I want to pick up an Age of Extinction or like Last Night style Optimus, I'm probably going to go with the older molds. So here we go, guys. Here's my look at the movie The Best Nemesis Prime, aka the Caliber Optimus Prime mold. What do I think about it? Do I prefer it over the Armor Knight? In some ways, yes. Definitely not having a backpack is a plus, but you're also left with a massive shield that I'm personally not the biggest fan of. So it's kind of a give and take. I think they're both kind of on the same playing field. I think having the option for it to not be there at all is very nice. I definitely prefer the metallic blue paint of the old Armor Knight. But hey, this is a different character, technically. This is Nemesis Prime. You can tell because he's got the little red on his face. Whoa! Yeah, I'm happy to have both. As an Optimus Prime collector, as someone who has like a whole collection of movie stuff, kind of felt like a big hole in my collection not to have Last Night Nemesis. As much as I don't like the interpretation, I didn't have a Last Night Nemesis. So I'm very happy to have this one. I think they did a great job. I really enjoy it. I love taking a look at some of these older figures, especially seeing the newer ones coming out and kind of being able to look back. I'm not sure if an old versus new was in the books for this one. I did do a big old versus new on the Studio Series when it came out, if you want to see a whole deal on that. But I just wanted to talk about this mold because I really enjoy it. Alrighty, guys, thank you so much for watching. Special shout out to channel members as always. Thank you all so much for the continued support. Have a good one, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.